The contains formula within Smartsheet is a powerful formula, but sadly, many users don't even know it exists. And the ones that do know it exists oftentimes don't use it to its full potential. And today in this video, I'm going to show you how to use it to its full potential and how to nest it inside another formula. And when you get to the end of the video, you'll see why out of all the other formulas today, I chose this formula to show you guys. It will be very useful to you and your team. All right, let's dive into this formula. Hey guys, welcome to Workflow My Workload. I am your guide, Justin Orazio, and today I'm going to be showing you the contains formula within Smartsheet. And as I mentioned before, many users don't even know it exists, and you're going to find that this is a very powerful formula for you and your team, especially when it's nested inside another formula. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today. And they call it elephant out in the room. As you can notice, the background's a little different today. I got some studs behind me. We're actually doing some remodeling in my office, so bear with us. It shouldn't take too much longer, but just calling the elephant out in the room. And I'm excited to show you guys this formula. It will be a game changer for you and your team. And I know I say that a lot, but I don't just pick any random formula. I pick formulas that I have seen made changes for me personally and for the teams that I work with. And this contains formula is one of those formulas. It's really a hidden gem. And this contains formula is going to be very, very useful. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Alright, so I went ahead and created a sheet here for us to do the contains formula, and I'm going to do a simple version and a more complex version, but I firmly believe that the more complex version, you guys will get a lot out of it today. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to take you by the hand step by step, but just know that the second formula I'm going to go over today will be a little more complicated, so pay attention. And again, it will be very helpful to you guys. Alright, so as I mentioned, I have a sheet here. All I did was I made 3 columns that are just checkboxes. So you can see here, just checkboxes. One for last year, current year, and next year. And then I just have a drop-down menu. I literally just put in some values. Like I can even put another one, 2025. Made sure it was multi, was selected on the toggle. So we got those here. And if you're unfamiliar with column properties, I have other videos that I go over that. And I also go over all the details of columns in general in my course. But today we're focusing on the contains formula and why that can be very useful to you guys. All right, so let's say, as we do here, that we have years getting populated in this year column, and it could be more than 1 year, like this one right here in row 1, 2022, 2023. So you have multiple years populating or whatever for that matter. And you have some columns, a column or some columns that you want the box to automatically be checked if certain criteria is met or something is contained in that. So for instance, last year, right now as I'm filming this, it's the year 2023. So last year would be 2022. And so if I want to do a formula that automatically checks this box right here, if 2022 is in this column, I'm going to do an if contains formula. So to write that, you just click right into the click into the cell right here where the checkbox is. As all formulas start, we start with the equal sign. I'm going to type in the word if first. I'm going to choose it. And then I'm going to type in the word contains. Click it here. So what we're saying is if this argument contains 2022, then I want it to be checked. If it doesn't, then I do not want it to be checked. Okay, so we got if contains. So as you can see here, anytime you're typing in a formula, it lets you know at what argument that you're at, and each argument is separated by a comma. So right now we're inside the contains formula. So it's asking, what do you want to search for? Well, if I wanted to, on a simple formula, I could just say, if 2022, because again, we're in column last year, and 2022 is last year, if 2022 is in this column right here, so I'm going to put in quotations 2022, I'm going to do a comma, separate the argument. And then I'm going to choose the column in which I believe 2022 should be found. So I'm just going to say, type in the word year at row. And what that means is I'm just looking at not the entire column, I'm just looking at the cell that's at the same row as the formula that's in column year. So as you can see here, when I type in year at row, it automatically highlights right here. So if I did another one, say I did year and I just did 4, see how it jumped down because it's at row 4, year 4. So year is the column, year 4 is the row. See? But if I do at row, then it will choose the row automatically that the formula is in. And the reason this is helpful is if you're dragging down a bunch of formulas to be populated at once, it will stick with the at row and it will do the math correctly. It won't keep trying to go with something that isn't in there. So we got year at row, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it with parentheses because we're done now with the formula contains, close parentheses. Then we're back into if, because contains, it's kind of meta here, but contains is all contained within this parentheses right here for contain. So we're done with the contain argument. The final argument we're going to finish up is the if argument, the if formula. And the way an if formula works is it's very simple. You have a logical expression. If it's true, then it's this value. If it's false, then it's this value. And when you're dealing with checkboxes, true means the box is checked. False means the box is not checked. Or 1 equals checked, 0 means unchecked. So if I do a comma, because this whole contains formula here is my logical expression. So contains, so I'm going to do comma, so I'm going to do 1, which will check the box if it's true, comma, 0 if it is false. I'm just going to click enter. So it means, so what we're saying is 2022 must be right here, and it is, we see it right here. But if I drag this formula down, chances are it will only be, there we go, in the first one, because 2022 doesn't belong here and 2022 does not live here. But the formula is showing for that. And now I can speed this up and copy this formula, paste it in here, and instead of 2022, I can do 2023. So you see what I did there? All I did was paste the entire formula and just change it, because now I'm in current year and I want it to be 2023. So I took out the 2 and put in a 3. Click enter, and it's checked because 2023 lives here. Hey guys, real quick, if you're finding this helpful so far, I've actually created a free user guide. It's a PDF that'll be sent right to your inbox that gives you the top 32 functions that are the most successful within Smartsheet. I tell you what they are, I show you a brief description how to use them, and what instances to use them for. Again, it's a free PDF guide, it's one sheet, it's all yours. I created it just for you. Just click in the bio below and it's yours. All right, let's get back to this video. Now if I drag this down, see it checked this box but not this box because 2023 is here. 2023 is not in this cell, even though there's a formula here. See, only 2024 lives there. And we can do the same thing for next year. Paste it in, take out the 3, put in the 4 because we're in column next year. Click enter. So nothing happened because 2024 does not exist in this cell. So let's drag this down and look at that. 2024 is here and 2024 is here. Now you may be saying, Justin, okay, that's all well and dandy, but as soon as the year changes, how in the world is current year or last year or next year, how is current year supposed to know what the current year is? And that's a great question, because if we stuck with this formula and it's all well and good, it works for this year, as soon as we get into the next year, 2024, well, it's going to think that current year is 2023 when really it's now 2024. So this formula will only work for a year. So to fix that, we now move into our more complex formula. And I, again, pay attention to this to you guys, but it will be very, very beneficial to you. And as I'm doing this, think outside the box. Just don't think in matters of year drop downs. It could be anything. It could be clothing items, car parts, inventory, you name it. It could be anything that you want to put in quotation. It will check this box. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this out. Actually, let's start with current year so it all makes a little more sense. So I'm going to go ahead and double click in here in current year, so 2023. So I'm going to take 2023 out, everything up to the comma, backspace. Then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type in the word year, because year is actually can be used in a formula. So I'm going to click here in the year, and then I'm going to type in the word today. Because this formula, the year is actually a formula. All you have to do is put in a date and it returns that year back to you. So if I put in May 5th, 1945, 1945 is what's going to populate because it's pulling the year. But there's a trick. If I put in another formula inside this formula, and that formula is called today, I'm going to click on this. That means that's going to pull the date for today. But if I close the quotation and then I close it one more time, what this formula is saying is if today's year is in this row, year at row, then the box will be checked. If not, it will be unchecked. So if I click enter, it's checked. Drag it down. There we go. So if I put in today's year, 2023, see it automatically checked itself. If I took it out, it will uncheck itself. So how do we do last year, next year? Well, that's simple. I'm going to go ahead, copy this formula, get rid of this. I'm going to paste it in. But because it's last year, I'm going to put a between the parenthesis and the column, I'm going to put a -1. So what that's saying is I want today's year, which right now for me in this video it's 2023, I want today's year -1. In other words, minus a year. So 2022. Click enter. There, it checked itself. Drag it down to there. Now if I put in 2022 here, see it checked itself. Take it out. Unchecks itself. And as you can imagine, if we're going to do a -1 for last year, it's going to be a +1 for next year. So let's copy this, put it right here, get rid of this. Now we're going to paste it in. Instead of a -1, we're going to put +1. Click enter, and we'll drag it down. And the last two should be checked. And there we go. So here's that formula again for you so you can see it for next year. Here it is for current year. And here it is for last year. And this really comes in handy for financials. If you're doing inventory, repair parts, you can imagine wanting something to be checked will be very, very helpful where it checks automatically. And say you have like 1,000 rows of data and you're like, man, I don't want to have to keep pasting this formula in all the time, or I don't want to have to drag this formula all the way down. Well, there's a trick. So let me put in some fake data here. What you can do, and this is what this is already doing here, is if you right click into a cell with the formula, you go all the way down to the very bottom, you click convert to column formula. See how everything turned gray? This cell turned gray. So this cell is blue, but if I go to convert to column formula, it turns gray. Again, I'm doing it by clicking into the cell and then right clicking on my mouse all the way down to convert to column formula. And what that means is the entire column now contains this formula. So if I copied this and just put it wherever, and put this wherever I want, random, it's automatically checking itself because this is a column formula. All right, you guys, Thanks for sticking in there. I know there's a little more complex formulas, but I know that this will be helpful to you guys. Stay tuned to next week's video. And as always, you guys take care and God bless.